In this module, we will discuss some of the elements that will influence the design of your e-learning. Before we get started, let's discuss the components Tech 2000 has identified that heavily influence the cost of your e-learning. First is the source material. This is the content we are starting with. Often, some portion of this content is provided by the customer. Next is the user control of the content. This means how responsive the e-learning is to your users. Will there be different paths a learner can take, or will it play through from start to finish? Please note that complex, scenario-based learning is not shown in this lesson. Use the contact information at the end of the video to request access to such a sample. Finally, is the source content multimedia? Is this only PowerPoint slides, or will we be using custom-built animations and stock video? Also note, we provide custom videography not shown in this lesson. Each section of this course will have an icon to indicate the level of content multimedia and user control you are viewing, using the icons shown here. As you start your e-learning development, you may have some questions about your e-learning strategy. Select a question on the screen, and we'll get started on your journey to a solution. Before you can even ask yourself if e-learning is the right solution, you need to determine what you are trying to achieve. Identify what problem you're trying to solve and what are the business outcomes you hope to achieve with your training. To ensure success, you need to define what success is and how you will measure it. This will help you determine the terminal learning objectives of your training. Before you start development, ask yourself, should I use e-learning to achieve the objectives I identified? E-learning used in the right way is a true game changer, providing consistency, flexibility, and often saving money in the long run. However, it isn't the be-all and end-all. Sometimes in-person training or training on the actual system instead of a lab environment is crucial to achieving the learning objectives you've identified. In these cases, a combination of e-learning and hands-on could be the answer. Another influence to whether e-learning is the right solution is how often your content changes and will your budget support it. It is critical to develop a curriculum that can be maintained and that can deliver your business outcomes effectively. Some other considerations include, what length of time should the module be and how many learning objectives should be covered? Researchers have identified the average duration of an e-learning for optimal learner engagement. What do you think it is? That's right, it's only 6 to 9 minutes. Research shows that the longer the module, the shorter the time someone will watch it. So if I have a 20-minute module, I might only get 4 minutes of my learner's attention. But I have 30 minutes of content I need to get across, so my e-learning video needs to be 30 minutes, right? Wrong. Your learner needs to drive the length of your video. Consider the following. When are they going to be taking the training? Right before a client meeting as a refresher, or back at the office as part of their development? How long is their attention span? A salesperson typically has a much shorter attention span than an engineer who is used to reading through lengthy specifications. Are there logical breaks in the content where we can split it? The recommendation for 6 to 9 minutes isn't a hard and fast rule, but it's a good thing to keep in mind when determining how many learning objectives you're trying to cover. The platform you host your training on is a critical tool to ensuring a good experience for your learner. If you do break up a topic into several videos, it needs to be easy for your learner to navigate between them and not get lost. If you're expecting learners to watch the training at the point of need, it has to be easy to quickly find and launch the video you require. Your e-learning also needs to be mobile enabled. When you talk to your e-learning provider, this should be the standard, not the exception. So, your staff have all watched your e-learning on the new sales strategies, and the feedback is great. The training was engaging, and the post-assessment shows that everyone grasps the concept. We did our job, right? We're done. Fast forward 3 weeks, and you're getting feedback that the sales strategies are failing. What? Why? Didn't the training get the concept across? There are a couple things you can do to help yourself avoid this scenario. Select the solution you'd like to pursue. Make sure your e-learning is placed correctly in the flow. As much as possible, shrink the time between the point of training and the moment they need it. This means your e-learning needs to be mobile-enabled and easily reachable. Provide your learners with resources to ensure success out in the real world. This may mean your training includes a job aid that they can reference while they're on the sales floor, or maybe you do short reminder videos that are emailed to them on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Perhaps we provide a mentor to support. Think about how you can operationally support the change. Also, ensure that your training itself helps them apply what they've learned. This may be a lab environment, an in-person group exercise, or even participation in a discussion board. To truly achieve change, you need to give your learners practice and repeated exposure. Make sure that management, the culture, and the environment your staff is working in supports the change initiative you're driving. The goal of training is to achieve some outcome that helps your business. Remind your managers of the importance of that outcome and help them understand how they can support. There are so many factors that influence the curriculum you develop, and this video only touches on a few. For more information or a free consultation, contact our e-learning development team.